Everybody knows only the strongest, toughest, most manliest of anime characters are completely bald. But how does one achieve this pinnacle of alpha male status? My name is Dr. Mim, and today we're going to be learning how to achieve the purest form of baldness through the medium that most of us weebs understand best, anime. Make sure to hit that like button and smash subscribe. Every subscriber helps me to lose one hair follicle. Man, this is a tough looking cell right there, but he would be so much more tough if he was completely bald. Put up a bald counter right now. True, he's looking more and more manly. There's only one thing that can happen to him that can make him look even more manly. Okay, hair matrix cells. A few quick fun facts about hair. It's actually pretty normal to shed between 50 and 100 hairs per day. Since on average we have at least 100,000 hair follicles each on our head, this amount of hair loss is pretty negligible since a lot of the hair is actually in the growth phase. The hair matrix, which lies at the base of the hair follicle, contains keratinocytes which are involved in proliferating to produce the hair itself. A lot of things can interrupt the hair growth process and cause balding, so let's see which one it's going to be in this episode. I like the attention to detail on the hair follicle that they've got going here. If you look at a strand of hair under a microscope, they do have that kind of jagged, rough-edged appearance. Okay, so this guy is clearly a melanocyte. They're responsible for producing melanin, which adds pigments to the hair follicles. And I like how they've shown him as an old man, because as you get older, you start producing less and less melanin, which ends up giving you that kind of wizened, smart, old man appearance. Still, if she was bald, I think she'd be able to do press-ups without any hands whatsoever. I'm just saying, she could be at least 95% stronger if she had zero hair on her head. Ah yes, the old tentacle battle. I reacted to this episode in a previous video, so if you haven't caught that, make sure you check it out, because it was interesting. It was interesting, that's all I'm going to say. I'll just leave it there. Let's be real, guys. If there really was a kind of physical romance relationship between these two, it'll probably most likely end up the way praying mantises do after they get it on. I.e., the female white blood cell would just completely engulf and eat the red blood cell. And some people may enjoy seeing that. You know, some people. I don't know who. I can't imagine who, but there's someone out there that would really, really want to see that.
Yes! Yes! Finally!
Okay, so this guy's trying to send purely killer T cells to address a potential infection in the nasal cavity. In reality, you wouldn't just be sending one type of immune cell as a response to something like that. It would be a mixed response, initially mainly made up of things like lymphocytes and the occasional macrophage. Killer T cells would be there, but they'd have a bit of a delayed response. They're more of a specialized cell that targets a specific pathogen, which means that they're not as useful in the immediate response to any potential infection. I like how they use the word crown to describe the top of the head. That's actually the anatomical word that we use to describe basically the top of the skull. The Latin variant of the word crown is corona, so that's where that name comes from, because of the appearance looking like a crown. It looks like the blood vessels near the crown, near the top of the head, are pretty badly clogged up with cholesterol and fat. The blood vessels near your scalp at the top of your head are quite small and narrow, so they're more likely to be among the first that get clogged up if you have an issue with lots of cholesterol in your blood. Clogged blood vessels leads to reduced blood supply, which leads to reduced oxygenation of the hair follicles, which leads to baldness. So it looks like we're hitting our first cause of baldness in this body so far. Okay, they're talking about an infection on the scalp. If we're talking about surface level scalp infections, it's quite common to get things like fungal infection, where you can get a lot of itching, redness, and kind of flakiness of the scalp. Or you could potentially be having something called folliculitis, where the hair follicles themselves become infected and inflamed. But let's see what's going on with this dude. It's heating up. It's heating up. That's probably a sign of inflammation. Okay, I think I see what's going on. It looks like the body's immune system has decided to attack itself, something called autoimmune disease. There's a lot of autoimmune diseases that can lead to things like hair loss. Some of the common ones include things like hypothyroidism, type 1 diabetes, or if we're talking more specifically about just the hair follicles being affected, there's something called alopecia areata, where you can get complete loss of hair in a certain area that becomes quite defined in comparison to the rest of the scalp. There's no one definitive cause of alopecia areata. It can be caused by many things from stress to medication, but thankfully in a lot of cases it does reverse over time. He's lost his bloody mind. Okay, yeah. So killer T cells are often involved in attacking cancerous cells, which divide very, very quickly. So it could be that the killer T cells have mistaken the hair matrix cells for cancer cells based on the rate that they rapidly multiply. This idea of attacking cells that are rapidly multiplying is kind of the basis for how a lot of chemotherapy medications work. They basically work to kill these fast multiplying and fast dividing cells, but because of the reduced accuracy of a lot of these medications, they end up killing off a lot of healthy, normal cells that just by their nature rapidly multiply, for example hair cells, which is why a lot of patients undergoing chemotherapy end up losing a lot of their hair and having other issues such as problems with their skin. Oh no. No, stop! Stop! So cytokines, and I guess inflammatory cytokines is what they're referring to here, are small proteins that can help to regulate the immune response. And some of them can actually accentuate and increase the immune response, so this dude's about to go full Saitama on them. Cytokines, they work specifically on the ass, as is clearly depicted in this scene right here. Putting oxygen on the fire? Probably not a good idea. I know what they're trying to do, but if there is some kind of severe autoimmune response, dumping a load of oxygen on it isn't really going to change the outcome that much. But it is true that in order to have good hair growth, you need to have an abundant supply of oxygen, so they're doing their best. What the hell is that? Why is he being chased by balls? Oh, sorry, what the cell was that I meant? My bad, my mistake. Okay, so I just want to make this clear. Steroids do not work by completely obliterating immune cells. That's not how it works, okay? Steroids, or corticosteroids as they're also known, work on the genetic level in the DNA of the cells that are expressing this inflammatory response. And they do this by suppressing the activated inflammatory genes that are causing this inflammation. But this does look a hell of a lot cooler, so it's fine. Just kidding. We have an infection in the genitals once again. Straight to the balls with you. Called it. Bloody called it. Okay, hematuria. Alright, so the next episode, I guess we're gonna have a bloody pee-pee. Fine. I can't wait. Bit disappointed that the bald counter stayed at 0 throughout the whole of that, but you know, you win some, you lose some. There's a whole range of other reasons for why this person could have gone bald, from androgenetic alopecia to things like I mentioned earlier, such as hypothyroidism and other hormonal disorders. But maybe I'll save that for another video where we can go fully heads first into baldness and explore all the different types and how to prevent or treat a lot of them. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember, 1 subscribe equals 1 follicle lost. Help me achieve my goal of being being bald. I'll see you over at twitch.tv/DrMim Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays at about 9 p.m. UK time. Until then, stay safe and healthy. See you next time. Peace.